We are in our Uber on the way to the first leg of a very long journey today. And we arrive tomorrow, but we are off to London and then to Norway. Bucket list trip.
Bucket list, yeah.
In the planning for...
We had like so many options, and then we landed on this one, and I think it's a great plan. And we're gonna meet my sister and her husband, newlyweds. They're having fun and a great honeymoon.
Yeah.
So we're gonna meet them tomorrow.
So we're sort of
have a great time.
Joining them for part of their honeymoon. I know that sounds weird, but it's not weird.
Actually,
they're joining us.
Joining us because this was our idea.
Yeah.
And they wanted to join in. So
yeah, we had this trip planned. We're doing a cruise to the Norwegian fjords. So yes, there's a whole series of videos coming based on this entire adventure. So stay tuned to Gio and JC. Lots happening. Step one, let's get to the airport and get checked in. We're fingers crossed. We're trying to get an upgrade on our flight from Boston to London today. We're hoping. We're in the even more space seats on JetBlue, but we're hoping we can get up to Mint. We'll let you know. We don't know. We're gonna try. Anyway, see you at the airport.
Listo.
Where are we?
We are at the Escape Lounge in the Fort Lauderdale Airport.
We are. Got our little section here. Gotta get a little desayuno. Little lounge food.
Protein.
The first leg of our journey is Fort Lauderdale to Boston, and we enjoyed our even more space seats on the way.
We pulled the trigger.
We did. All right, everyone. So we made it to Boston. First flight was uneventful. We were delayed leaving Fort Lauderdale by about 30 minutes. No big deal. Made up time.
Yeah, it was only 50 minutes delayed arriving here.
Correct, yeah. And now we're standing outside of the lounge here in Boston Terminal C, hoping we can get in. There's a wait list, but we have about 45 minutes before we board our flight. But as we told you before we left Fort Lauderdale, our hope was when we arrived here, there would be an opportunity for us to move to the Mint class. And guess what?
We did.
We're doing it. Not only are we in the Mint class, but we are going to be in the Mint suites, which are the front row of the plane. We've never flown in the Mint suite, so stay tuned. We're going to give you a whole review, a whole overview of what it's like to fly from Boston to London in the JetBlue Mint suite. How excited are you?
Very excited, like super excited, because we've flown in the lay-down seats before with JetBlue and also with Delta.
Yes, in Delta. Yeah.
And for me, it's been always a great experience, but never been in the actual suite before.
Right.
And hopefully, this is gonna be a good experience for him.
Because my last Mint with JetBlue.
The first one.
Yeah, when we were going to Hawaii, my Mint experience was the seat was broken. But anyway, it's all good. We're excited. We love to travel, as you know.
We had to spend a little bit of money, but
yeah, we had.
It is worth it.
But we spent way less than it would have been just for one ticket. So. Yeah. It's a good idea if you can, if you monitor the seats on the plane, if they're available up to 2 hours before the flight takes off, you can approach JetBlue. If you have Mosaic status, we're Mosaic 2, and if you are at that level status, then you can ask to see if you can be moved up and pay the difference. And they do discount those. They don't discount it as much for the London flight because this is their premier flight, European flight, but domestically, flying to California or Vegas or whatever, you can get some really good deals by waiting, if you can. Anyway, we'll see you on board. All right, made it to the lounge. We only have like 20 minutes before we board, but...
Yeah, we had to wait like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
There
was a wait.
Small.
Yeah, I was actually surprised this lounge is smaller than the lounge in Fort Lauderdale. But having some pita and some hummus, I'll take it. A little place to relax before the flight.
Cafecito.
Good day of travel so far.
Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
So please, be alert, and report disadvantage.
Well, we made it on board to our Mint Studios, as they're called, which are directly in the bulkhead of the A321. So here I'm just checking out the giant swivel television, which is great, touchscreen. Little closet with some slippers. Just kind of looking around. You get a little mirror. Hello, everyone. A little light, ambient lighting. This is a little nook where there was a bottle of water sitting there for me. You can put some other things in there. And there's a charging station, which I'm going to tell you a lot more about that later.
Okay. Maybe I'll come back. Yeah.
Are you being a little bougie?
This gigantic screen. Nice.
I'll be able to come over and join you for dinner and breakfast.
Nice.
I continued to check out the studio. These are the control station. You got controls to do the lie flat seating, which is great. And when you sit in these seats, you need to use an over-the-shoulder seat belt. And this is the cabin for Mint. There are 22 Mint suites and the 2 Mint studios. Decided to pull out the slippers and check those out. I will say they were comfortable, and you have a little button that you press to pull out your tray table, which was nice.
Cheers.
Cheers from our Mint suite. Little pre-flight beverage,
Why not?
sparkling wine with elderberry.
We start our vacation.
It's very refreshing. So as you can see, we're actually both sitting in the little Mint studio. So, which means during the flight, when we have our meals, if we want,
You can join.
I can go over to his or he can come over here. We can hang out, we can talk. We got all the extra room in here.
Yes, and our lovely flight attendant let us know that we can order food on the TV.
Yes.
It's a massive TV. It's
So we're
great.
gonna do our touchstone. We get to choose from 3 different entrees and all the bouginess. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get some sleep, which is good.
Oh yeah.
Because we're on an overnight flight to London. I'm very happy. JetBlue offers a very nice menu for their Mint experience when you're traveling transatlantic. The nice thing is you get to choose 3 out of 4 from their small plates area, and then you get 1 of 2 desserts to pick from. And then you can choose if you want to have a pre-arrival meal as well, which is awesome. And of course, all of your cocktails and beverages are included. Here's just a quick little scan of the entire studio. Juan Carlos on the other side checking his out. It's quite spacious. And the nice thing about the food menu is you do all of your ordering right on the television screen, and you could do that right after you board the flight before you take off. So your meals are placed, and I'll just show you how I did it right here. And the touchscreen was relatively intuitive, and it was simple to use. You also get an amenity kit and a pillow and blanket to use during the flight. And here's the first meal that was served. And as you can see, the camera's a little jittery, and you can tell by the liquid as well. Pretty much our entire flight across the Atlantic was a little choppy, but it was still very comfortable. And here's the dessert. It was very good. And here's the pre-arrival meal. As you can see, it was still a little bumpy coming in. By the way, the overnight oats were excellent. Now I'm going to share a little story of what happened to me on this flight that I hope never happens to any of you. Shortly after we took off from Boston, I decided to use the armrest phone charger, and I placed my phone on it, and then a couple minutes later when I was turning in my seat, my elbow bumped the phone, causing it to pop over the edge and fall behind the seat. Now, you would think it would be relatively easy to get out, but unfortunately that was not the case. The phone was in an inaccessible area between the wall of the aircraft and the seat and the mechanisms for the suite. The crew was incredibly helpful, and they tried everything they could, including using a back scratcher and some other things to try to pull it out, but it was impossible. So what happened was, when we landed in Heathrow, a maintenance crew had to come on the aircraft. They had to disassemble the entire seat to get my phone, while we waited outside the aircraft near customs for about 2 hours. I thank JetBlue for the effort, but this seat was poorly designed by not having something that would stop items from falling between the seat and the wall of the aircraft. All right, I wanted to pop back on here real quick, so I appreciate you watching thus far, and I wanted to give a little more clarity to what you just watched. But before I get into that, I just want to say, first and foremost, the entire crew, in-flight crew, as well as the pilots of this flight from Boston to Heathrow, London, were incredible. They were so friendly and so nice throughout the flight. The in-flight crew that tried to help me retrieve my phone, thank you very much. They really did everything that they could. But, you know, this all happened roughly about 30 minutes into the flight when the phone fell over the edge. So I want to back up to give you a little more information as it relates to that, and some advice. If you're traveling in the Mint Suite or the Mint Studio, just double check along the armrest that maybe your seat has some foam rubber stripping in there to prevent things from falling behind. So it appears that JetBlue is well aware of this, and the reason I know that is because the entire crew mentioned, oh, you're not the first one this has happened to, including the pilot. And then I saw Juan Carlos's seat, and there was a rubber stripping that prevented anything from falling behind his seat. But unfortunately mine, the rubber stripping only went about a quarter of the way down, and then the other piece of the stripping, for whatever reason, it had either worn away or broken off, etc., but it wasn't there. So as a result, when I bumped my phone, it went down into that crevasse. As I said, huge kudos to the crew for helping me as much as I could. So what ended up happening is we landed in Heathrow, and while we were waiting for the maintenance crew to come on, that's when the pilot came out, and he had had some experience with this happening before. Apparently at one point he had one flight attendant that had very small arms that was able to reach down and retrieve the phone. But unfortunately nobody in our crew, including myself, were small enough to be able to do that. So he tried his best, and then the maintenance crew came on. The plane deplaned of all the passengers. We stayed on board for a little while with the maintenance crew, but eventually they asked us to get off the plane because the cleaning crew needed to come on. We waited in the jet bridge for a while, about maybe 30 minutes, while the one maintenance worker was trying to disassemble the seat to try to get to the phone. Ultimately, what ended up happening is they had to do more than just kind of get underneath. They had to literally take the entire seat out. Crazy, right? So we had to go through customs, wait on the other side of the airport, where we waited approximately 2 hours, and then we got the notification that they had retrieved the phone, and a wonderful crew member brought me the phone. So again, incredibly thankful to JetBlue for doing that. A cautionary tale for you: if you're watching this and you're going to be flying in the Mint category, just double check that your seats have the appropriate rubber stripping to prevent anything from falling. And that's not just for the front pods where we were. It's the entire Mint experience, because those seats are very mechanical, and therefore you just can't reach up underneath and retrieve something if it falls down. So there you go. That's what ended up happening with my phone. Again, kudos to JetBlue for doing everything that they could and ultimately getting my phone back in one piece, which was great. So thank you for that. Sure, it was a little inconvenient, but you know what? Stuff happens, as they say. Stay tuned, though. We have another video for our return flight from Gatwick, where we weren't in the Mint studio, but we were in the Mint suites, the standard suites for our return flight. So we're going to give you a little review of those on our return flight back from London. But hopefully you've enjoyed the video thus far. And if you have, give us a little thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Doesn't cost you a dime, and then that way you get notified whenever we upload new videos. Our channel is focused on travel and our experiences, as well as bringing you advice and tips and tricks around the world. We appreciate you watching, and as we always say here on the channel, happiness is a lifestyle. And until next time, happy travels, everyone.